Hi everyone. I'm sorry it's been so long since I did a video. You were probably waiting. Um, it's just been a lot going on, so maybe I'll have a lot to talk about. Right now is it's about to be the inauguration of the, I believe, 45th President of the United States, which is Donald Trump. And that is amazing because I never thought that that would happen. I used to work for him, and a lot of people that know me know that, and it was pretty exciting, and I loved it. But I was young and dumb, and I later left because I was too young to realize really how good I had it. But I knew it was good when I had it, but I let outside stuff get in the way. Happens to a lot of us. So right now is probably slow down time for you all. It's starting to slow down for us. Last year at this time, though, we had 4 crews running. Now we're down to 2 because of illnesses and cars breaking down, and it's just been a ride since since we started this. We're going on our 2nd year now. So, but we've been in the industry for about going on now like 7 years. So I think because of how long we've been in business, and my husband worked in this business before, just for someone else and not for himself. And sometimes that might even be a good thing because it is very busy even when you're slow. You don't get any time to yourself. At least my husband don't. I do a little bit, but I also take care of my kids and the house and all the outside stuff. My husband don't take care of nothing. The phone rings and it isn't for him, for business. I answer it. I take care of everything. Outside distractions are very hard when you're uploading pictures and typing in notes and making invoices. You can't mess up. So pretty soon the president will be speaking, and I'll be watching. But right now I want to talk about a few things that we all know about, and mostly the problems in property preservation. We have a few of them. One is the workers, the quality and the amount of workers that you can get. Um, it The greed of people is just staggering these days. There are people out there that will say they're worth more, but yet they aren't anywhere right now. But when you offer them, $13 to $15 an hour to do this easy work, and some of it is easy. We do bid approvals. When we do bid approvals, then we offer more for people who are, skilled and get the job done right. If we get paid for it, then you get more money. But that's not good enough for people either. I had I'm not sure if you heard in any of my videos, because I did do a video that I don't think I published in the property preservation, where I said that one of our workers, I, I kind of, when you're a business person, and like I said, when you're a friend of people that you do business with, you find out sometimes that that's not good. But because I put my I put my hand out to this person and said, you need a job. I care about you and your family. I'm going to give you a job. And when that person gives you the hardest time about anything and everything, it's unbelievable. Like, he worked for us for a while and everything was fine, and then one day he sat down, told us he needed more hours. He needed to make at least $1,200 a week, and he would come here and do some office work if he needed to, help out around here. He had to at least make that kind of money. So we gave him the work to make that kind of money. He was out, working, um, 10, 12, 14 hours a day when it was daylight a lot, and when it's, the daylight goes away, it gets harder to do some of these places. And he came to us and he just said, I'm used to working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, having the weekends off. It's like that was his last job where he made like $60 an hour to work for fire restoration, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but you don't work there anymore. You work for us. And he was with us almost 2 years when he started making those demands. He don't work weekends at all anymore. It's like I think he worked one weekend because he actually threw us a bone. It's like, wow, I just don't understand why people, they need a job so bad. You have nothing if you don't have that job, but you won't work for the money that you want. So but I guess when you get close to people and you think, everything's okay, but like I said, friendship and business do not mix, and I found that out. So, how many times have you gotten a person that would start work, you're waiting for them to start work and then they don't show up? Then you get people going, well, after they tell you, I'll start fresh on Monday, I'm ready to go, and then they'll call you on Sunday night and say, what kind of business is this? Are you on the internet? I don't even know if I don't know. I don't know about this company. It's like we've been in business for 2 years, and we are on the internet. And it's a lot of work to keep just trying to find people to get your work done. But if you don't have a lot of crews out there doing your work, you really don't make that much. And some companies are very hard to work for. You can never get support. They tell you call from site, but you sit there for an hour trying to get to one person, and then they tell you, I'll call you back. And then you're sitting there longer. And all this is time is money. They tell you to call from site to do an order that would maybe pay you about 15 to 20 bucks. It's like I just ate that up sitting there. So, or especially if you send another worker there to do it for you, and you're sitting there with them, paying them by the hour while you're trying to find an answer to a question because you have no support. Also, the prices have dropped ridiculously, I would say. If I knew about this business a long time ago, I would probably not be here now, because the prices they paid to do things back then were great. Like, while my husband was working for another company, they were making pretty good money, but they actually closed and said they were in debt because he kept, the prices started to drop, and the guy just kept putting everything out on credit card, and this, I think he went into $300,000 in debt, and it's not hard, especially if we just say throw it on credit, and it was a shame because they were a good company, they were good people. I don't plan on going out of business. We just need workers. We need people that want to work and not, tell us what's going on. I'm about to put an ad in the paper for our people who think they are better than us. And can tell us what we're supposed to do, and say, is there any employers out there that like to be told how to do their job? Because I got some people for you. I can't believe it. And especially when like I said, people are personal with us. They know us. They know our family. They know what we deal with. I have a handicapped child. And then you're going to go out and, be on a job and start saying, you know what? I'm not working on the weekend. I'm getting tired of working weekends, and right in the middle of your day when you're supposed to be doing a job, while we're sitting here putting in jobs for you to get paid. You're going to start throwing demands on us while you're sitting there doing your work. While you're out there and you should be doing your work, you start texting us all kinds of stuff. That really gets on my nerves, and I just don't, as a business person, I know it shouldn't happen, but then my husband is, humbled by the fact that these are the only people that we have. And they make mistakes like you wouldn't believe that have to be fixed, and they wouldn't be paid to go back and fix their mistakes. They say they don't agree with, like my husband has a plan where he says that if you make a mistake, then you need to drive back and fix it without us paying you for gas or by the hour, because you should have done the job right the first time. My husband writes out everyone's instructions every single night, and it's incredible. He'll route where they're supposed to go. He'll be like, okay, you're going here, here, here. Give you like 4, 5, 6 houses. He'll tell you exact order to do them in, and how to, that they'll be done faster. He writes down exactly what to do at each house. And then if he needs you, to call, please call. No one calls us. No one does anything. They come back with the order completely wrong and will actually admit that they didn't read their work orders. Oh, I'm sorry, I overlooked the email. I'm like, are you serious? I just don't get that. I told him to I'm sorry, I got distracted because an email just came in. I told him to leave it blank. Just give him the address. And then see what they do. And be like, oh, I'm sorry. You actually want to know what you're supposed to do at the property instead of doing what you think you should have done when you got there? Because that's what you do all the times before. It's like lock code, like lock changes, lockbox changes. They don't put the key code. They don't take pictures of the key codes. They don't take pictures of the lockbox code. They don't take pictures of the keys in the lockbox. It's like, really? It's the only thing you have to do. It's not hard. I don't know how you can forget something. Write down a checklist. Tell yourself what you're supposed to do so you don't forget. So, and I'm ranting because it's something that makes me mad every day. That's all I do is walk around and repeat why people can't do their jobs correctly. They always say, it's an honest mistake. It's an honest mistake. I'm like, really? I know it's not NASA or anything like that, but you can't tell NASA, I'm sorry, I made an honest mistake. An honest mistake could kill many people. And actually in this kind of business it could too. I mean, you don't know what you're doing. If you make a mistake in a repair, you could really hurt people. But we make sure when we submit our orders are done right, even if we have to pay for people to go back and fix their own mistakes. It's getting ridiculous. I want to be able to have enough business where I can actually have a controller do my job for us and, separate us from from the tasks of the employees every day, like a dispatch and saying, you call me when you get to that next job so we can go over what you're supposed to do. I mean, because technically that's what should be done, and it's done almost all the time, but the people still don't listen. And it takes up a lot of time, especially when you have, anywhere from 9 to 20 some work orders to put in one day, along with answering emails and phone calls and dispatching things, just taking care of everything. And then your family comes home, and you're still doing your work at night, and then you have to pay attention to them, and then outside activities and forces that come into your home that shouldn't even be here. It's just it's incredible business. It's busy, and I hope you're busy too. If there's anyone out there that knows of anywhere where we can find some reliable people, leave some comments and let me know. We've tried Craigslist. We've tried Facebook. We've tried just word of mouth. I mean, we even had a person that I worked with for years, and just disappeared. Supposed to do a job for us on the weekend, on one weekend, and just never showed up. So we even took him back. You know, he said he apologized and we took him back. And then we went to go pick him up for another job and he wasn't even there. He went off with his girlfriend. It's like, you know. And he thought he was a good worker. I worked for him at another company, in another company, and I trained him and I knew him from back in my 11-year career that we left because of our autistic boy. And I'm so grateful that we were able to build this business. And I'm also a marketer. I do marketing, and I make money online, and that's fun and rewarding and challenging. And you wouldn't think that making money online would be that challenging, but it is. So is this business. This business is very challenging. Has anybody ran into any creepy houses? We have a house that people swear is haunted. And it's really funny because I've never been there yet, and I want to go. I almost got to go the other day, and it's now been boarded up, so it's a lot more creepier. And so we were always told people hear voices. Voices feel like they're being watched, but no one. Like, we don't repeat it to people. We don't tell anybody because you don't want to tell people that a house is haunted when they know they have to go to it. And these people will, like, come back and be like, don't ever send me back to that house again. And that's really funny. All right, be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I don't remember what I was talking about exactly. There's a lot of things we could talk about. And one of them is I really wish that they would fix these prices, and I hope that when Donald Trump gets into office, he does not. Well, he already is today. As of this second, he is up there talking. He's done, and his famous lines of "Make America Great Again." And I just hope he doesn't mess with this business, and if anything, maybe make them put some more money into it so that we can get rid of the blight in the neighborhoods. And pretty soon it's going to be impossible for anybody to even run a company unless you have 25, 30 employees doing thousands of dollars of work a day before you can make anything. Also doing taxes with this business is a very grueling thing. It's just it's hard, especially since I have to do that most of the time. And I'm usually pretty good at taxes, but this year is going to be harder than last year. And oh yeah, I was telling you about the ghost house. I remember that. So one guy the one I was telling you about that just left with his girlfriend didn't come back. He was left there to do a lock change while the other guy went to the store. And he said, when the guy came back from the store, that the guy was up at the end of the driveway. And he said, well, you've done that job already? He said, no. He said, while I was drilling, he said, something touched me. Oh, sorry about that. Hold on. He said, something touched me on the shoulder, and I saw something behind me, and I just ran. And then another person that just recently went there that never knew about it had said, don't ever send me back to that house again, because I heard voices, I felt things watching me, and that's weird because they have, there's a pentagram on the floor in the basement and 666 on the walls. People don't even know that half the time because they don't go down the basement. So, my husband didn't know that. It never bothered him. But then the last time he went back to the house, he said, it was all boarded up now. Like all the windows were boarded up. He said it felt different, very weird, like very heavy air, and then yeah, like 2 days ago he went there. He came home and he felt sick the entire night. His stomach was nauseated. He couldn't eat nothing, couldn't look at nothing. And I said, maybe you're just getting the stomach flu. But it went away next day. He didn't feel anything. He said he felt heavy, felt sick, felt like there was just something weighing down on him. And he said, I don't know, maybe I brought something home. So I told him to shut up, because you don't know if that's actually true or not. So it's going to be interesting. I want to go to this house. I want to check it out. Um, I've experienced some things too. Was told that, from a doctor, it was probably just hallucinations from being stressed and tired, and that's usually what happens to people when they experience ghost experiences. So everybody likes to just write it off. So, all right. I don't know what else to talk about except for I just hope that things get better for everyone. I hope that we can actually, because now just our employee, it's noon time, says in the middle of a job that he's doing with my husband, he has to be somewhere at noon. The person that's been with us for 2 years, and he knows that him and another guy are the only people we got right now, that they're both having car problems. And he just comes out and says, I can't do the second trip with you because I have to be somewhere at noon. So, I mean, really, I really wish I had somebody that I could replace him with. Really do. Because how do you do that? How do you go to your job and say, I need to leave in the middle of doing it? I never said nothing all day or the night before or anything like that. Just all of a sudden you have to leave. I don't think that would be accepted anywhere, and if it is, you won't be going back the next day. But he knows that, it's us, and we need him. So, I really, but what I'm planning on right now is, I'm still working my marketing. I've been studying it for 6 years. I'm starting to make a breakthrough, hanging out with people who do the same thing I do, staying away from negativity and people that are negative. It's really helping. I've already made some money. I'm going to Hawaii for a marketing workshop, and it does help me because it helps me realize, for my business itself, how to run it correctly and stuff. And you just have to make sure you have an abundance of people to work for you. So, leave comments. I've know, one person left a comment one time, told me I had pretty good points, so, anything you want to say it. I don't even care if it's negative, because I don't care what anybody has to say, because I know what I deal with every day. I don't know what you do. So, what's your story? That's what I want to know. What's your story? So here's a story. I just got a phone call from my son's school, my son who has autism, that one of the kids in the class just tested positive for whooping cough. And I'm like, wonderful. But it's been a couple weeks since he had it and was tested, and it just came back positive. So I don't know. Hopefully that was a good enough time for him not to catch it. So, because, hopefully he's clear. So, like I said, leave your comments if you want. Let me know your story. I want to know your story of what's happening with you out here. So, all right, and I will talk to you later.